to Mr. U's Reviews. As you can see on my right, we're going to be reviewing It Chapter 2. Now the novel is one of my favorite books I've read, and I remember reading it before the first film came out. And here we are today with the second half of the book coming to the big screen. This film follows the Losers Club 27 years after the events of the first one. And most of them have moved on, they've moved to different states, and they're living successful lives. But when Mike, who stayed in Derry, calls them and tells them Pennywise is back, the Losers Club needs to come back to Derry and try to defeat him once and for all. As always, let's start off with the pros. The cast in this film did a very good job considering that they need to impersonate the actors from the first film. And I liked how each one of them kind of took a mannerism or the way they talked from their characters in the first movie and brought it here so you can make the connections of who is who. But the standout, just like the first film, is Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise the Clown. Although his acting is kind of over-exaggerated, that's exactly what this character is. He's like an over-exaggerated, kind of creepy, like, monster that's what makes him really scary. So he did a great job, and he kind of goes for it, which is always great when acting. You want to give it your all, and he does that in this film. Another aspect of the film I really enjoyed was the directing by Andy Muschietti. He gives the film like a larger scope, makes it feel more epic, which I think is always great with films when they do that, especially if it's like a finale to a series. And he does that here, and it just feels more cool in my opinion when directors do that. I think he's a great director, and I'm excited to see what he does next. Will he stick with horror? Will he go to any other genres? We'll see. Also, the film has a good visual look and feel, especially in the finale with all the different colors. It kind of adds to the epicness. It's connected to the directing. But I really liked the cinematography here. I thought it was well done, and it adds something more to the film in my opinion. Let's get into the problems I had with the film. And I didn't really have a lot of different problems, but the problems that were there really bring the film down from an A. And the biggest one is with the runtime, the 3-hour runtime. Now the first and third acts I thought were pretty good. I wouldn't really change too much with those, but the second act feels very drawn out with lots of unnecessary flashback scenes. Now don't get me wrong, I loved seeing the cast from the first film again. You know, they were really great in the first movie, and they are good here too. But lots of those scenes feel like they don't really have a place in this part of the whole It, you could call, saga. It felt like those scenes were added just to give more scares, and I feel like if some of those scenes were trimmed down a little bit, it would have helped the film a lot as a whole and gave it a much better runtime. Also, some of the creatures in this movie are bizarre looking, and I think that's what the filmmakers were going for anyway. Lots of the scares are bizarre, and some of them didn't work for me, to be honest. Lots of them were silly looking and goofy looking, and maybe it was this way the CGI was, or just the way they looked, but I wish a lot more of those creatures were really like creepy looking, instead of trying to scare us with bizarre looking creatures. So overall, I enjoyed It Chapter 2 for what it was, especially after reading the novel and seeing what I read on the big screen. It was really cool. The cast was really nice. I think they all did a great job playing their characters. The directing was really cool. as well as the visual look and feel to the movie. It added a good feeling to the movie. But what bogs the film down for me is its unnecessary 3-hour runtime, and how some of those creatures kinda looked a little bit too silly in my opinion. I wish they went for more of a really scary, creepy look with those. So I'm gonna have to give It Chapter 2 a B-. I recommend It Chapter 2 to fans of the novel and fans of the first film. I think it brings a fitting conclusion to the storyline. And as always, don't forget your popcorn! Until next time, from Mr. U to you, stay tuned!